What's up, journeyers? Welcome back to the Concealed Journey. We're back at it again today with some more food for thought, talking about some unwritten rules and considerations being a gun owner. Just a gun owner in general, whether you're new to guns and you've just got one, you haven't even bought one yet, let's say, or you've got 100, right? Don't tell us a number, and that's a question you should never ask anybody, by the way. But we'll get into that. Stay tuned. Let's see what we've got for you today. I know I don't have a name tag, but my name gets misspelled often. That's more so my mom's fault than yours. So we're gonna move on. I'm Damien. I'm your slow shooting, walking contradiction, talking too much host for today's video, where we're talking about unwritten rules and considerations of being a gun owner. Some things that maybe you've considered, but nobody's actually just presented for you. So we're gonna lay some things out and we're gonna get into that today. So after that, the intro, we're going to talk about our favorite part of this video.
Bow body, bow body.
So the bow body, right? In classic tradition, I lean in once again. And we're going to have ourselves an intimate conversation about the things that you should consider while being a gun owner. Just in general, you are now a member of just the basic gun owners of America. You now add to that populace. So welcome aboard for one, if you're a new gun owner in America, right? So that's great. So you got to keep in mind that with that, now you also become part of the percentage that represents the rest of us as well. And that's where safety and making sure that you're doing your part, understanding etiquette of owning firearms, right? I mean, that's going to come down to understanding the laws and regulations in the state where you own those things, right? And some other things to consider is going to be like jargon, right? Vernacular, terms. So we're gonna put together a glossary, right, of things that are commonly said that aren't understood, right? And a lot of them become acronyms, unfortunately. But that's just for ease. And we recently had this presented to us that we say some things just based on the fact that we know them and it's just natural speech for us, that they go above and beyond some other people's understanding, you know, is where it's just common knowledge to us and, you know, folks that are a little bit more experienced in the gun world, like BCG, stands for Bolt Carrier Group in a carbine, right? Height over bore, or POI, point of impact. You know, so if people are throwing suppressors on guns, you ask, is there POI shift, point of impact shift, right? We're going to put together a whole glossary of that, but those are things that you need to keep in mind going forth with this, is that there's some terminology that you might have to look into a little bit and ask questions. I mean, unfortunately, I think too many people don't just ask questions, and obviously everybody's been guilty of that themselves, just thinking that they got it figured out, and none of us know what we don't know, right? So it's kind of tough for that. And also, another point, moving on to number 2, things to consider, maybe 4 at this point in time. We crossed off a couple in that little rant there. Number 2, big point, is going to be the responsibility as a gun owner, right? Making sure that not only your children, let's say, can't get into your firearms, but that, like, cousin Johnny that you don't really want at Thanksgiving also can't access your firearms when he's over for Thanksgiving. Things like that. Everybody's got a cousin Johnny. His name's probably not Johnny, but you get the point. It stands to reason that there's somebody around that they're family, and you can't pick your family, but making sure that irresponsible or undesired folks can't access your firearms. Gun locks, that's a great way to do it. I guess you can hide it in your walls. Under your pillow really isn't an acceptable means of security for your firearms, but you're going to play that by ear depending on what your household is like. Like, I live by myself. I don't have children around. I don't have unwanted guests around unless my house got broken into. Now, that leads us to the next point of making sure that your firearms are secure, so that if your house does get broken into, that you're not arming bad guys, right? Or assailants, actually. That should be addressed as well. Talking about earlier when we mentioned vernacular and terms, just saying bad guy is it's pretty obscure, right? So maybe assailant is a better word. I know in my last video I said bad guy a couple times, and a better term for somebody that's undesirable, that's, let's say going through some nefarious activities, we'll say assailant, right? Making sure that you're not arming assailants. So that's important as well. And that comes in with security of your firearms. Another thing to talk about, once again, maybe addressing some of those terms, is let's talk about what a FUD is first, right? And FUD is also another term in the gun world. And unfortunately, it's a stereotype typically for older folk that don't really believe in the Second Amendment. Maybe they like guns and they own guns and they're pro-gun, but they're not pro-2A. And a FUD would be somebody that doesn't believe in semi-automatic firearms, doesn't believe in things that we're doing here, whiz-bang, zoomer kind of stuff, appendix carry, kydex holsters, optics on our handguns. That's sacrilegious. How dare you do that, right? I mean, we should be shooting no more than one shot every 5 seconds, just punching paper at 100 yards. That's a FUD. And they're maybe pro-gun, but not pro-2A. And the more people that we can get to become actually pro-2A, then the stronger the defense of the Second Amendment is going to become. I don't know how beaten that horse needs to get, but that's at least addressed. Moving on into the fourth bulletin on the board behind you is one size does not fit all. And we've addressed that in a couple different facets, wearing, maybe we're just going to put lipstick on a different pig and change the color of the wig here, but one size does not fit all. Okay, so I run this rig right here for concealed carry, and maybe T-Rex isn't your company, right? Maybe Tier 1 or LAS, the Kennedy Co., Warthog Holsters down there in Arizona. What's up, guys? A lot of great holster companies out there, okay? Safariland, they don't really do appendix stuff, but suffice it to say, one size does not fit all, and that's for the guns as well. But if you're going to be a concealed carrier, which is something that obviously we advocate and stress, we prioritize here at the Concealed Journey, is that any gun you carry is better than the gun you don't carry at all. So recently, we'll give you an anecdote. So I was at work and a regular customer came in, and he's giving me flack because I'm a Glock guy, right? Which, it makes sense. It's merited. I understand it. There's a lot of hate for Glocks, and just look at the groups and the sizes, bud. Anyways, doesn't matter what I shoot or what you shoot. If you have a high point and you're actually carrying it, it's going to be better than that guy that's got, $3,000 Dan Wesson sitting in his safe. So this guy comes in and he's making fun of me for wearing a Glock, and I asked him, well, what's your carry gun then? And he goes, oh, it's way better than that Glock. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, it's a Model 66 Combat Magnum. And I was like, okay, can I see it? And he's like, well, I don't have it on me right now. Like, okay, well, I could have a stick, and my carry gun is better than your carry gun. He's like, well, it's in my truck. Let me go get it. I'm like, no. If this issue happened right now, even if I had a High Point or if I had a Jennings, that's better than what you're carrying right now. So if you're going to be a concealed carrier, carry your gun. I had a customer that was in the store the other day, and I asked, there was two of them. I asked one, you carrying? And he goes, heck yeah. And I was like, my man. And he looked over at his friend, and as I looked over at him as well, and I said, what are you carrying? And he's like, oh, I'm not carrying today. And it's like, you got to change that, man. I was like, do you have your phone? Yeah, I got my phone. You got your wallet? Yeah, for sure. Okay, you're wearing your shoes, right? Yeah. Okay. The same way you don't forget your phone or your wallet or your shoes at home, you got to try to mend that mentality, that discipline into also carrying a gun. Because as of recently, we did an IG Live with Cypher Systems, and I asked him the question, what got you into carrying? Thinking that it was going to be a pretty general answer, like, yeah, to defend my family, to defend innocence, which we all totally agree with, regardless of how common that answer is. It doesn't minimalize it at all. But he had a crazy story about he was at work and his gun was in his car, and some dude came in with a gun and ended up shooting a guy and made him drive him across the state, like wild stuff, right? And his answer was, I want my gun on me. Even though it was 40 feet away in my car, it did me no good right here and right now. That's why carrying a gun is going to be great. And one size doesn't fit all. A lot of benefits. If you can find a range that rents guns out and you just try a ton of them, get some buddies or friends. Obviously, the internet is at your disposal, and watch 1,000 reviews, right? And gather your own opinion based off of what finally sifts through whatever kind of filters you're building in for yourself, depending on what's going to be important to you. Is it going to be ammo capacity? Is it going to be concealability? Is it going to be ammo availability, right? That's super important as well right now. I mean, like 357 SIG, it's a cool round. It's got good ballistic performance, but good luck finding it. Not only good luck finding the ammo, good luck finding a gun that fires it. So those are things to consider as well being a new gun owner. Another thing to consider being a new gun owner is that not only, like we already mentioned, are you now part of Gun Owners of America, and there are some other couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Responsibility, terminology, one size doesn't fit everybody, is that it's your own process, right? And it's your right to have a gun, and you do with it essentially whatever you want. This is a free country, but you're representing the rest of us as well. Right now, I haven't been a part of a lot of groups in my life, but I am a part of the 2A community, just gun culture in general. And I've played sports and stuff like that. Jiu-Jitsu is actually a pretty cool crew as well. The people that I've met through Jiu-Jitsu are also super fantastic and supportive. But the people that I've met through the 2A community are so supportive. And we've got so many people, we're bouncing back ideas, we're all having fun with it. Don't forget to have fun with it. Be goofy, right? I mean, you got to ride that balance between being responsible and safe and having fun. There are too many people out there that are just so dang serious, serious pills all day about gun stuff. And it's like, no, we joke around, we have fun, we're goofy with it, and that's acceptable because we're safe simultaneously. Above all else, we're safe. And a lot of safety features go in having home security, having actual safes for your guns, understanding that whether there's actually a safety on your gun or not, this is your safety. This is your most important safety. A holster is also a safety, a quality holster, as we addressed last week. So keep those things in mind. Just some food for thought for you folks today. A couple of things that we wanted to discuss. Once again, usually just off the top, we've got an idea like, hey, let's talk about that because that's something good to address that maybe other people aren't actually addressing. So without further ado, we appreciate you folks being here, all of us at the Concealed Journey, and there's a lot of us now. We're growing by the day, and we appreciate you being a part of our journey as concealed carriers and as the Concealed Journey. This is a super fun ride, and we're not confusing ourselves with the wave. We're just the surfers on this wave, and you folks are really helping the swell, and that's absolutely tremendous of you, and we appreciate you so much. Please consider checking out our website for classes, merch, swag. Consider getting over to our social medias. That is The Concealed Journey. It looks just like that on everything. Maybe there's a little @ sign before it. We've got a Facebook as well. Here on YouTube is a great place to contact us. We will respond to everything you folks say. Unless you're being hateful. You can keep the trolls out of here. We don't appreciate you. Nobody does. I'm sorry that you're so bored you have to troll these things. But other than that, have a great day. Take care. Be well. Check your chambers. And stay free, everybody. We'll see you next time. Look at my poor looks. What's up, everybody? All right, I'm Damien. Let's see.
It's like aggressive. All right, I'm Damien.
And does the Y become IE in journeyers? Like it's the Concealed Journey, and these people are journeyers, right? So is it JOURNIE?
JOURNEYER.
Journeyers. Okay, so it's not journeyers. So I've been wrong about that. What's up, journeyers? Journeyers? Hey,